everybody. This is Contessa Tate, and you know what we do every single Monday. We have divine sessions. So I'm really excited today because this is not only a sister of mine, but this is really blood for me. This is family. And I'm just really excited for her to come onto this platform and just brag about herself because I think so highly of her. And I watch her and I cheerlead her. And I'm just really excited for her to just share about who she is, what she does, and also some amazing tips that you could take away in your life. So if there's something that you've liked after you heard this conversation, make sure you go into the comments, tell us what you like, tell us what your takeaways are, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel on YouTube, okay? So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my sis, cousin, my family, Miss Ida. So first of all, tell us who you are.
My name is Adesina. Online social media, I go by Nurse D Porche, and so I'm a registered nurse out of the state of Georgia. I've been in RN now for about 6 years, and before that, I was an LPN, and then before that, I was a dialysis technician for 3 years.
Yes, girl, you got the stomach for it, girl. Because it's so funny. You got to think blood, fluids, but then most importantly, bedside manners. Please, it's like
Yeah.
I hate when I go get specialty care and either I witness someone else not being treated correctly when you're in a place where you're most vulnerable, or if I experience
Right.
not being taken care of. And it's just, if you can't do the job and you don't like people, please don't go into a job where you got to help people. So,
See,
bless you.
I agree 100% with you. And that's why I'm in the space that I'm in because it's either a field that is for you, that is destined for you, or it is not. And I help people to kind of make that decision on if nursing is for them or it's not. It's not for everybody. So
Yes.
I'm glad you said that.
No, for real. Like, okay, can you and actually tell us the difference between like an LVN, LPN, all these acronyms? Like, tell us the difference of all these positions.
Okay, so an LPN is a licensed practical nurse. This is a nurse that holds a diploma in the area of nursing. And so a registered nurse is usually an associate level nurse or it can be bachelor's degree prepared nurse. So I started out as an LPN, so I got my diploma and then I did a bridge program from LPN to RN to associates in RN. That was a year. It was a 1 day a week program. I did that for a year and 3 months. And then from that point, this is what I share the most. Most people want to hear about this. Once I became an associate's degree, then I went and got my bachelor's degree through a FlexPath university in 3 months. Completely,
Wow.
paid off, debt
Wow.
free now. But I did that, and then I actually accidentally signed myself up for the BSN accelerated MSN route, which is your master's degree in nursing. And so by the time I got my bachelor's degree, they were like, "So are you going to continue and get your master's?" I'm like,
I
"What?"
know that's right.
I was like, "How many classes would I need?" So then they told me I would need, like, I think it was 13 classes total. So I was like, "Yeah, sign me up." So I was able to do that in 3 months. Since then, they've changed a lot of things with the program, but it was just the grace of God that I was able to
Yes.
do both of those in 6 months. I mean, it was amazing. So I'm really grateful for that.
You know what? It's like one thing that I appreciate about that testimony is just the eagerness to grow because some people they think their journey is just too hard and they give up like mid progress. It's like see it through. And even if you don't fully know where you want to go, maybe after you obtain a certain education degree, be open for someone to steer you or show you an opportunity of how you can go to the next level. So while you
Yeah.
were going through your education, how did you push past any maybe like self-doubt or just maybe even confusion? How did you push
There was a
past
lot.
that? Yeah. So how did you do it? How did you push
When I
past all
got,
that?
and it's so funny you say that because when I was working as a dialysis technician, I was super happy when I finally got to the point of being accepted into the LPN program. So I'm like telling the nurses, "Hey, I'm going to be a nurse like you, I'm going to start this journey." And I remember one of the RNs that I work with, I'll never forget it. She said, "LPN shouldn't even be a program. You should just have to go straight to bachelor's degree level um, to be a nurse." And so it just really, I'm like, wow, at one of the happiest moments of my life, that's what you tell me to try to discourage me. And so I remember
Mm-mm.
going home and telling my husband, like, yeah, this is what she said to me. He was like, don't mind her.
Yeah.
You go finish this program. You're gonna be a nurse, and then if you want to, you can go on. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna be done. Like I
Yeah.
didn't even know that I would be in the line of nursing. That was never my intention. But as working as a dialysis technician, I just kept hearing you would be such a great nurse.
Wow.
You would be such a great nurse. Some of the nurses that I work with, and then some of the patients, they just kept saying it. And I was like, why don't I look into nursing? So it was never my intention, but I really feel that it is my purpose. And God really
Yeah.
had that in the line for me because I just fell right into it and thrived in it by the grace of God. So, to answer your question, just having positive people around me, so
Mm-hmm.
constantly staying in my word. There were scriptures that I dwelled on throughout the nursing program, throughout all of my journey, and especially now that I'm even practicing as a nurse, I have to keep a prayer life, and I
Mm-hmm.
keep positive people around me who's going to push me towards better. So,
Oh, I'm the choice words that you just used was so on point. Um, Literally for the past few weeks, I've been dealing with this topic of walking in your purpose, profiting from your purpose, and just
mhm.
being mindful to address your whole life. And as we talked about addressing your whole life, it included getting away from people who do not fit with the flow in which your life is going. And you
Have
just said
to.
it so perfectly. You said it in real time. So I gotta look to the camera for this one. Remember, walk in your purpose, okay? Do it
Yes.
scared, do it confused, and know that your purpose is this burning desire to act, this burning desire to move in a direction that you can't even make up for yourself. Like there's something on the
Mm-mm.
inside of you that moves in a particular direction. Provision is given to you from odd places just for
Yep.
you to act on this intuitive feeling towards something. That's how you know that's your purpose. So
Mm-hmm.
when you think about what is that burning desire, whatever you have that burning desire to move on or act on, whether it's working with kids, helping people, building a business, whatever you have that unction to do something, most likely that's your passion. And as you
Mm-hmm.
begin to function in the direction of your passion, you will just have so much providence and opportunities that just present
Yep.
itself because that's what you are meant to do.
Because you're walking in your purpose. Yes.
Yes.
I love that you
Yes.
said do it scared because the people that I mentor, that's the number one thing. Mostly I'm just helping them to get over the fear of applying to these programs, the fear of rejection, of not getting into these programs. Like just because you're rejected from the first time you try to get into nursing school does not mean that it's not for you.
Mm,
Just because you don't pass the first test, I failed so many tests. Like, it does not mean it's not for you. Even my journey of getting my diploma. I'm originally
mm,
from California. I moved out to Georgia my senior year of high school. And so while I was here, there was a graduation test at the time. They since done away with it, but in California, I had passed it. Georgia, I could not pass that graduation test. And so I had to take it 3 times. And on the third time that I didn't pass it, I think I missed it by 1 point. It was like a 500 that you needed to pass, and I passed it by, I mean, I failed it by 499. So I could have at that point said, you know what, forget it. I'll just go and work somewhere. But I said, no, I want my diploma. And I worked all of these years. I want my diploma. So I flew back home to California, lived with my sister, and went to, I think it's Sierra Adult School in Richmond,
Yep,
California.
yep.
That's where I went and got my diploma that
I know
way.
that's right.
Came back to Georgia and then pursued my nursing education. I actually started out in aviation and that didn't work out. So I was like, well, I'm just going to do dialysis. And then God just pushed me to where, that ended up pushing me to where I was supposed to be. That person, I just used them as fuel. Like, okay, you said this, LPN is not a real nurse and all this stuff. And LPN is actually absolutely a real nurse. They are absolutely a real nurse. I worked as an LPN. There are differences between some of the work that LPNs do versus RNs, but they are absolutely a real nurse. There's so many LPNs making huge impacts in the nursing community. So I never want anyone to feel like that's not a real nurse. It is. And if that's the path for you, you pursue it. Don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to people saying, this or that. Go where God has for you to go. And yes, like you said, it'll fall in line. Do it afraid. I love that. I love that because that is the biggest bump. That's the biggest bump in the road is being fearful, and feeling like, well, what if I fail? So what? Try it again if you fail. That's not the end.
Yes.
What is for you is for you. Period. Point blank.
Period. I know that's girl. I'm really trying. I'm trying to practice being quiet because I'm definitely one of those church people that be in the audience like, yes, amen. Like I'm talking about talking the whole time. It's like, can you let the minister, please? We hear you. I'm over here like, yes, clap, yes, yes, everything. Yes to everything you said. First of all, can we go back to you being in high school, talk about, nope, I'm going to California. High school,
Mhm.
that's before you like 21. You already had this level of determination that most of our young people are struggling with. Just that, you know what? I'm not going to give up. You moved all the way back to another state to get I need you to hear that. You moved to
Slept on the
another.
couch, okay?
I'm just do you know that type of sense of urgency and like determination is really lost and it's not really preached or it's not really fostered or mentored in these young people. It's almost like I don't know if it's laziness or uninspired, but like just the determination at that age to say I'm going to go all the way to another state and get this done and come back and
Mhm.
then move forward in my life. Just when you have things that oppose the journey that you're walking in, opposition and resistance does not mean that that's a sign you shouldn't go in that direction, just
Mm-mm.
like you said. But just like when you're at the gym and you're lifting weights, the weights are fighting against your ability in that moment. But the
Yep,
moment you practice lifting that thing that's actually blocking you and making it hard, it builds your tolerance, it builds your
yep.
strength up so that
Yep.
you can endure that one roadblock. And now you got to add more weight so that you can
Mhm.
handle even more
Yeah.
pressure. So, just the same way as we do that in the gym, we got to exercise that in our everyday life. That when something comes
Right.
against you, you don't run from it because it's hard, you endure. Because the moment you endure that, if anything comes at you from that particular level of intensity, you know that you have the muscle, the tool, the mental capacity, the emotional awareness to get through. And it
Yep.
also means you could take something harder than that because you knew how to get through that. And I just wish
Mhm.
that people reframed what they go through in life and make
The
it a journey versus just a road map of destruction or a
mhm.
road map of opposition because some people really
There's a lie being told. There's a lie that, well, if it's hard, then that means that it's not for you. And it's actually the opposite. Like
yes,
you're gonna
yes,
have to work for it. And you're right.
yes.
once you like, okay, you set a goal, a small goal, and then you accomplish that, then it's like, oh, I did it, so now I can do more, and then that's what builds you to the life. Like, I'm nobody special. I just believed that I could get to this
Yes.
small area, and then it grew, and I believe for more. And that's just all it is believing in yourself and not believing the lie that if it should be easy, then it should be for me. And that's with everything, with finances, with education, with your marriage, with every relationship. Like, it's not going to be easy. You have to fight for it. So
Yes,
I
girl.
love that.
And then also you just brought this up. So like even when you became debt free with your education, how did that whole process work? Like, did you have a plan? Did you have mentors? Did you have resources? Like, what was the
None
angle
of
or
it.
the plan to become debt free? Like, that's challenging, and that's like a nirvana place for a lot of people that they want to reach. So, how did you do that?
So as far as the education, I can't take any of the credit. When I say none of it, like none of it. God was instrumental in that whole entire process. I didn't even know about grants, scholarships, WIOA. What do you mean? I sat in my orientation for nursing and literally just being nosy. While I sat in that meeting is how I found out about WIOA, which is a program that I ended up getting $14,000 towards my education for. So another girl had mentioned it in the program, and as I heard her say it, I was like, "What WIOA?" So I wrote it down, kept listening, and then she mentioned that it was through the Department of Labor. So after that meeting, that same day, I rode over to the Department of Labor and I said, is there a program that you all offer called WIOA? And they said, yeah, would you like to apply for it? I said, yeah, tell me about it. So then they told me about it, and I was like, wait, so I got to pay it back once I'm done? And they were like, no, you never have to pay. I said, what? Yes, let me sign up right now. Like, literally right now. I'm not leaving here without it. So I signed up, and then I went to the meeting, and then I ended up getting approved. And so that money helped me through the nursing program because I was able to get scholarships that they offer through Georgia. I think it's the Hope Scholarship and what's the other one? I think Zell Miller. And then they have the Pell Grant that I got, which completely paid for all of my schooling, plus gave me a what I'm wanting to call it a stipend, but it's not a refund each
Mm-hmm.
semester. And I got WIOA. So even though the Hope Scholarship and the grants paid for my education, they still gave me that money as if they didn't. So then I was basically pocketing all of that money that was like my tuition costs, my books, my scrub fee, my there's a blue bag that we get with the stethoscope and the syringes to practice and all of that. So I was pocketing all of that money. And so why I say I got through all programs essentially debt free is because if I was more financially literate at the time, I could have held on to that money and used it for the last two programs. But even with me just spending that money at that time, I still was able to get through my bachelor's degree and my master's degree without any debt. So I paid for that out of pocket because I had saved some money at that time. So God was just instrumental. When I say I did not know anything, He was leading me through it all.
I
Because
know
what
that's
even made me
right.
listen and tune into that? I don't even know what made me listen at that time, but I wrote it down, and that literally changed my entire journey. Because had I had to pay for like get my RN, my bachelor's, my master's, I would have never done it. So that
Mm-hmm.
was really instrumental for me. But at that time I did it. But what I did do, because once I finished completing all of my degrees, I noticed that I was not financially literate.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know basic things like how to save, right? My idea of saving was transferring money into my savings account when I got paid. And then once everything, I spent everything from my checking account, then I would go into my savings and transfer it over and
Right.
never have anything in my savings account. But I would say my sister really spoke into me one day because I kept complaining to her that I never had, money in my account. My husband was always at work. And I'm just like, what's going on? And she said, you're the problem. She said, where are you right now? Child, I was somewhere eating. Every time she talked to me, I was somewhere eating, and she was like, "Girl, you are the problem." I was like, "I can't be, not me." So she said, "This is what I want you to do. I want you to go into your account, and for the last 3 months, I want you to tell me how much you spent on food."
Oh,
Blew
yeah.
my
Yeah.
mind. I
Yes.
could not believe, because I am
Yes.
a mother of 3 kids, child. And just me eating out by myself, like
Yes.
stopping here, stopping there on my way home from work or school, it was like almost $600 that I had spent on food alone, just
Yes.
me in 1 month. I
Yeah.
could not believe that. I
Yeah.
was so shocked. At the time that she told me, I was so mad, because I was just
Yeah.
like, it is not me. Like, what do you mean it's not me? And when I actually sat down and calculated how much I was actually spending at all of these places, I was like, oh, I'm absolutely the problem. I went and apologized to my
Mhm.
husband. He ended up pulling back and not having to work, as much in the long run. We both started our own businesses that we do really for fun. Like, he
Yeah.
does his DJ business. I get to help in the area of nursing, when I get time to do that. And so we use that to pay off our cars, to pay off my student loan, to
Yes.
build our savings account, invest in retirement. And just more and more, I started educating myself, reading more books, listening to different financial advisors on YouTube
Yes.
University. Just the
Yes.
desire to learn and want to be better,
Yes.
started to develop more, and I started learning more. But yeah,
I love that
God.
because girl, I'm telling you, when it comes to holding yourself accountable, that is one of the most hardest things that people really overlook the beauty in. Like there's so much beauty
Mhm.
in accountability. And I know that initially it means that you are at fault. And who wants to admit it's me, my fault, right? But when
Mhm.
you hold yourself accountable, that means you now have room to grow. You have room to pivot, perfect. You can now place yourself appropriately for growth and just being better overall. And I loved how you said
Yeah.
that not only was it affecting you, but it also affected your husband to the point where when you were holding yourself accountable, he got to scale back at work. And it just speaks to how
Mhm.
it's not selfish when we look at ourselves and better ourselves because the people
Mhm.
around us and the people connected to us will also reap the blessing and the benefit of us being healthier. Your husband
Yep.
got to scale back work because you were
Can you
holding yourself
imagine that?
accountable.
I couldn't even, I'm like, wow, so it was me all along. I'm complaining. He always at work. And she's like, you the reason he always at work, because you spending. Because he's the saver. And
Yeah.
so he had been telling me, but I wasn't trying to hear that. It took my sister really just telling me the truth about myself and making me hold myself accountable. Like, no, you're the missing piece in all of this. Look and see. So from
Wow.
there, I learned what zero budgeting was, and then now I'm
Mm-hmm.
very mindful of where every single dollar that comes into this household is going. So you have to be
Yes.
intentional, but it's not an easy process. Like you said, that initial, oh my God, I was mad at my sister probably for about a week
Mm-hmm.
after that. Cause I'm like, how dare she say I'm the problem? but,
And it's
but it was
hard, but it's
the truth.
so worth it. It's so worth it
Yes,
once you
yes.
swallow that pill. Because I remember the first time. I just think about my whole, my whole marriage and how we went through these stages where, we were when my husband and I got married. I moved into his apartment, and I just remember our rent being $500. I wish that my rent was $500 right now.
Right?
And I
$500.
remember there was a time where it was a struggle to pay that rent and to pay our utilities. And I was fresh out of college and I became pregnant. I want to say a couple of months after graduation. And I just remember it being challenging. And I just remember God moving our family from grace to grace to where we were
Mhm.
in his bachelor pad, can't really afford $500 rent. I remember our lights coming out and us legit having candles. Like I'm talking about, we didn't have no cable. We was at the bare minimum. I was going through grad school like that, catching bus and BART, only having one car, just and not really complaining, but just feeling the tightness of that
Mhm.
experience and being on food stamps. And I wasn't mad at the food
I
stamps.
was us too.
I was, girl, we spent like $1,000 food. I said, how come when I'm poorer, I had more help? That's another story. But I just remember those humbling experiences, also being evicted to turn around and buying our first property and then building
God.
on that, building our income. Then that property we bought made so much, we made so much equity on that property that it
Mhm.
not only I'm talking, we bought our condo and I love that condo, but we bought the condo way below market rate because the individual who sold
Wow.
it to us was in a rush to move on. And so
Okay.
we were able to snatch it up and then we stayed
Nice.
in it for 6 years. Man, people were banging on our doors to buy it. And then we were able
Oh
to
my God.
sell that, buy another home, gut out the home, we were doing construction. We bought our home and didn't even live in it for 3 months because it was being renovated, and then was able to pay off cars. And I mean, it was like
Mm.
God, the abundance, and then just seeing how God moves. It's just so amazing. Again, when you walk in your purpose, there will be provision,
Mhm.
opportunity will be
Yes.
made. And I just love any story where, we had to hold ourselves accountable during that time as well. We had to look at what were we doing wrong? Were we not positioning ourselves? Were we not being good stewards over what God has blessed us with? Like, what do we have around us that
Mhm.
we can use now? And I think there's a lot of people who pour mouth or they kind of woe is me versus how is this an opportunity for me to be creative? How is my
Mhm.
season right now an opportunity for me to make changes? How can I better myself for the blessing I say I want? Because if God really gave you everything you asked for, do you have the mindset to keep it? Would you lose it?
Mhm.
Would you take care of it? I feel like people are so stuck on wanting what they want that they don't position themselves for it. They don't condition themselves to be the all-star, to be the champ. And it's so funny because
Mhm.
I told my husband, I said, honey, I have to live right now the way I expect myself to live in the future. And that means
Mhm.
already I'm acting
That
stuck.
mean planning now.
Okay.
Yes.
And that means you already in motion. Like if I'm
Yep.
gonna be this bougie girl, I need to be bougie now. Like I don't have to wait until everything falls into place. I have to
Yes.
act on it now. And I just love how when you're
Mhm.
talking about your journey, the whole time you were saying it in different ways, but if you really, for those who are going to rewatch this, really pay attention to what she said. Out of everything she said in her story, there was action. It wasn't no I wish, I thought about.
Right.
Everything our sis said tonight, she said I acted on, I saw, I inquired, I did. Not I thought
Mhm.
about, I wanted to, because I hate stagnation. Like pet peeve of mine. Just I want to do this. Okay, then go do it. I don't know. Then go
Prayer
figure
without
out.
works is dead.
I mean, it's so simple
You
that it's
gotta pray
hard.
and work.
It's so simple that it's hard that some people don't catch on to that. And it's amazing to me because I'm all like, with you said you went to YouTube University. YouTube will make you feel like you could build a house by the time you finish watching all them tutorials.
Wow.
But it's
They
the
got
point that is
everything on
there.
YouTube.
It's the point. And now we got Chat GPT. Girl,
Right.
we can
It's no
all do
excuse.
something right now because of chat.
Yeah.
AI got us all big headed at this point. But it's the fact that you acted and now look at where you are. So please go ahead and tell us what kind of business, because you say you and hubby both have your businesses. So what
Yeah.
is your business?
So mine is FemIda LLC, which is just basically education for those who are interested in the field of nursing or healthcare. It doesn't have to be nursing. There's been people who didn't know if nursing was the right field for them that come to me, or those who, they are interested in nursing, but they don't know which area of nursing, or they've been a nurse for many years and now they're tired of working bedside, so they want to go remote and work from home like I'm doing now. And so every single area, from if you're not sure to you're almost ready to leave the field, or you just need help navigating how to, like you said, prepare for tomorrow, right? The best time to prepare for the old you is the young you right now, today. And so just helping navigate that whole space, every area of nursing. So I do mentorship, I have courses, I have ebooks that I've created, to just help navigate that space financially, just figuring out which part of nursing, or which schools, how to find schools that's accredited and board approved, so that you're not going to school and then you're spending all your money. Like I had one lady contact me, she spent her life savings on a nursing program and now she can't sit for the NCLEX. So because the school that she went to was not board approved
Oh
or
no.
accredited. And so she's having trouble with sitting for the NCLEX. She might have to do the whole program over, but now her life savings is gone. So I'm like, this is not okay. And she's not the only person to contact me with that. So I created an ebook. It's called I think it's called LPN. Oh Lord, I should remember. LPN in your state or RN in your state, where basically it lists how to um, walk through the process of making sure a school is accredited, making sure it's board approved. That also helps with you receiving federal funding. And so if you're interested in receiving any type of financial aid, you need to make sure that these programs are accredited and board approved. So I made ebook to, explain that whole process, as well as my journey. If you're interested in knowing how I went from dialysis technician to RN with a master's degree with no debt, I explain literally down to the penny how I got all the money. I include the links, as well as like new programs and scholarships and funding that I found out along the way. So
Nice.
yeah.
So where can they find you if they want to utilize your services?
You can visit my website at www.femida.biz. That's FEMIDA.biz. Or you can follow me on YouTube under Nurse D Porche, where I interview different guests, basically on their nursing journey, or talk about health, or talk about finances, and all of those things. So yeah.
Yeah, and don't let my sis fool you. She also has a community where she encourages and empowers individuals to get their whole body and mind in shape. So go ahead, speak about your group where you empower us to be better about ourselves. I'm gonna
Oh,
let you brag. I'm not gonna let you walk away here without bragging. So go ahead and brag, sis. Brag on, brag on.
the group that my sister is referring to is Fitness Sisters, and that is on Facebook. It's completely free. Please join. We just encourage each other with eating healthy, working out, sharing tips, even prayer, just to help us stay on track with a healthy lifestyle. So you don't have to be in shape. You don't have to know anything to join. It's just something where a community where we help each other with getting and staying healthy.
Absolutely. There's power in community, and we need
Yes.
community to live. There's no such thing as I did this and I'm gonna I. You know
Mm-mm.
what? That is not the way to true success. We have to lean on one another, and
Yep.
we have to be inspired by one another and hold each other accountable and receive accountability. Just like you said, your sister made you look at you, and After you
Mm-hmm.
looked inward, you were able to have that aha moment. And we have to be able to accept that give and take relationship in a community forum, because I know that a lot of people talk about it's scary being vulnerable. It's scary, making new relationships because someone can burn you. And yes, that's true. Someone can burn you. But instead of going into a new relationship afraid or angered or guarded, why don't you go with cautiousness and boundaries, but with an openness that you can receive some good from that connection. So please, I will
Yeah.
also have the Fitness Sisters link in the description of this video. If you are on Facebook, go ahead and join in. Again, this is free because a lot of groups ain't free. So
Right.
go ahead and sign up for her group so you can hold yourself accountable and also be encouraged. Now, I do want to just say this as well. I am so proud of how you gracefully move through your journey. And I remember watching you and watching how you were going through your education. And you never know who's watching, but on social media, you put highlights about, going through your schooling, even your workouts, and then your business. And I just want you to be inspired and encouraged yourself. One, you don't know who's watching you. You will
Mm.
never know what seeds you plant in other people's lives. You never know what seeds you're watering. You are walking in your purpose. And because of that, people are gleaming from the harvest that's following behind you. And a lot of times we always think our purpose is just for us. You have to be
Mm-hmm.
successful because there's people watching you and they're catching hold to you walking in your purpose. So I just want to encourage you that you are a celebrity in your own right. And again, there's fans that are out here cheerleading you, but will never say anything to you for whatever reason. But just know that
Mm.
people are watching you, are inspired by you, and are so grateful that you're boldly walking in who you're supposed to be. And on those days that feel super tough, those days where you're exhausted, or those days where it was really hard, it just means that you're going to have a better reward once you get over that hump. And I just want you to
I
always
love you.
remember you are where you're supposed to be. You are the woman you're supposed to be. And don't let anyone or anything discourage you, even when discouraging moments come. So just
Mm.
keep shining, sis. And I want you
Thank
to know
you.
that this is not even the ending. Things can feel so good that you're like, this is it. No, there's more
Right.
for you. There's so much
And
more
it's
for
so
you.
funny you say that because I literally asked my husband today, I was like, maybe it's time for me to just let it go, like just chill, concentrate on my kids and all. He said, I don't think it's time. I
Yeah.
don't think it's time. And it's so funny because every time, every single time I feel like that, God brings me somebody, whether it be a DM, somebody texting me or calling me and just reminding me that no, you're in your purpose and keep
Yes.
going. So yeah.
Yes.
You gotta remember when you get tired, take a break, don't quit.
Right. That part. Because I took a whole 2 year sabbatical and came back like I ain't never left, but I needed it. And I
Yeah.
used to think that that R word was a death sentence, and that R word
Mhm.
was to relax. I thought relaxing was such a demonizing word. I'm like, relax. That
Mm.
means I'm gonna miss
How you do
something.
that?
It's like, what? Relax. That means I'm gonna miss something. I'm gonna miss some. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not gonna miss nothing. You could blink and 2 years go by and it feel like 10 minutes. Like, sit down. If you
Right.
take a break, sit down. And I
But
always,
thank you for saying that. I really
for
needed
real,
to hear it. And
for real.
you are that light too. I see you online and I'm constantly being encouraged by you. So thank you so much for every positive message, every positive post, all of the positive that you're doing in the community. I really appreciate that. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you. Thank you. And I appreciate that too, girl. I be needing to hear
Mhm.
that. No, I'm just teasing. But
Yes,
no, it gets
you
hard
do,
out
because you
here.
do this amazing work, and I really appreciate it. It's helping me, and I'm sure everybody else who's around you can feel that. And so you're just being
Thank
a
you.
light. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I received that. Thank you.
Yes,
But
keep what you're doing.
I just really love like when women can come together and do this because I just hate when we spread stereotypical jargon like, girls can't get along. Stop saying that.
Mm,
Yes, we can.
right.
Women need women. I'm gonna say this. I'm not male bashing. I promise. I promise. I promise I'm not male bashing. It is something when women get together and
Yes.
support, uplift, and pour into each other. It's some
Yeah.
magic. It's magic when women get together on a like a for real connected just frequency. I don't care what you want to call it. It's the power that happen when we get together and we all are just on the same page. When we
Yes.
genuinely are pouring into one another and just uplifting one another, you can feel it. It's like, oh
Yes.
my God, I'm walking away feeling so full. I'm so free. I'm so vulnerable and I can be vulnerable. I feel understood. And I didn't even really
Yes.
say what I want to say, but someone spoke my words. And that's why
Mm,
women got to get together because
powerful.
we get each other without even using words. We understand each other
Hmm.
on a spiritual level. Like we understand the motherhood, being a
Hmm.
wife. We understand being a sister, a friend. Like we
Yeah.
understand the ins and outs of being a woman. And so why wouldn't you rush to have some sisters? And I get so sad when I come across women who are like, I don't like women. I don't like other girls. It's hard for me to like girls. Girls are
I'm a
catty.
girl's
This
girl. I'm a
I'm a
support to the end.
I'm such a girl's girl too. It's like it's so funny because I had this guy go, "You a lesbian," and I was like, "Why?" He
No.
said, "You love girl." I said, "These are my sisters." What? And it's so funny because me and my sorority sisters, it was so funny. They was all like, "Y'all, heck, you know, y'all are just so just all over each other. Y'all are just sister and laying on each other." I said, "You know what? Whatever. You feel the love." And
And that,
my best friend, we were walking around. She said, "Girl, if people don't think we're lesbians, then that means we are not close. We need to be closer."
uh-oh.
Because it's like, it got to the point where we were traveling because she's also my like if I go out the country, I'm either with some people or I'm just with her. And we will literally it got to the point where we can go to a restaurant and they be like, "What we want?" She be like, "Well, I'm gonna get this and she gonna want that." I'm like, she like
You know you.
she already know me. And then there was times where I came somewhere, she had flowers for me. And I was like, okay, I'm about to
Aw, see,
outdo
I
you.
love
And then
that.
there was this other
I
time where I
love it.
have gifts and stuff for her. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's because that's what a
Sisterhood.
reciprocal relationship feels like.
Mm-hmm.
It almost feels like a relationship because
Mm-hmm.
you get each other and
Mm-hmm.
you want to pour into that person. You want to see that person. You want to give. And I just think that because people are so traumatized by what they've experienced in
Hurt.
life that they don't even
Yeah.
know what a healthy relationship look and feel like. If they did
Yes.
feel any sense of love and genuine care, they automatically think, "Are you out to get me? Like, what's your hidden motive?"
Right. Yeah.
Um,
What's yours?
it's like I can't really
Why are
like
you
you
really
without
being
wanting
this
something.
nice?
Like, dang, we
Yeah.
got like that as a society. So,
Mm-hmm.
like for me, it's so important that I create these little communities where even if you don't connect with the community every single day or whatever, you know that there's a safe place where you don't
Yeah.
have to second guess if the people in that group are safe, where you could be
Mm-hmm.
vulnerable, where you can ask for help. I love creating communities. And I don't necessarily care that my communities get too big because that means you can be even more vulnerable in those spaces even when they're small. So I just
Mm-hmm.
love, like we said, being a girl's girl. And then
Mm-hmm.
two, going back to the power community and needing each other and knowing what a healthy reciprocal relationship looks and feels like. We need that
Mm-hmm.
to thrive and survive in our time.
Yes, indeed. We do.
Okay,
We
yes. So
do.
please, I just want you to one more time tell us your Instagram, Facebook, social media handles, and what is your website where people can look up more of your business?
Okay, you can find me on Facebook as Nurse D Porche. Same thing on Instagram and YouTube. And then you can go to my website at www.femida, FEMIDA.biz, B-I-Z.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, that concludes our divine sessions for tonight. Again, look in the comments in the description box and just look at all the information that we have so you can connect with our businesses, our networks, our sisterhoods, anything that we're tied to, we're going to have in the descriptions box below. Make sure you follow us online and on social media at the Divine Aligned Collective. This was Contessa. Thank you for joining us, and I'll see y'all next time.